welcome once again to Real Shame, a show where the two of us fellers talk about our list of movie blind spots movies that have passed us by or we have passed them by over the years. And now we're coming back around and picking them up and watching them and talking about them and yeah, that sort of thing. My name's Andy.
And I'm Adam.
And on Monday's episode, we talked about I hesitate again to call it a teen kind of comedy, but something like that, teen comedy, dramedy, something. It's a little more serious than your average teen comedy, and the teen in this case was 18. He's graduating senior. That was Risky Business, and today Adam decided to pair that with another movie, which he will tell us all about.
All right, this one actually is a teen comedy, and this one is an outcast secretly pays the most popular girl in school $1,000 to pretend to be his girlfriend for a month in Can't Buy Me Love.
This is supposed to be the biggest year of our lives. The prom, parties, homecoming. We're supposed to have memories.
Memories? We'll have plenty of memories. Yearbook committee, video parlor, card games on Saturday night.
Parties for retards. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it that way. Yeah, we do have a lot of great memories. But be honest, wouldn't you like to be popular?
And have to be in a clique? No.
What happened to us? We were all friends in elementary.
That's because we were all forced to be in the same room together. But hey, junior high, high school, forget it. Jocks became jocks. Cheerleaders became cheerleaders. We became us. I like us. I do.
I just think it would be more fun to party with those guys our senior year. Go to the games.
We'll go to all the games.
We sit in the visiting section, Kenneth. At our own school.
Can't Buy Me Love came out in 1987. I don't remember when the song came out. Probably in the 60s?
Yeah, 60s.
By the Beatles. Good thing they were able to pay for that rights. It is written by Michael Swerdlick and Steve Rash. Swerdlick really hasn't done a lot of writing for features. He's done a lot of TV writing. So some of the notable things he's done was Doogie Howser, MD, and Beverly Hills 90210. Some big shows there. And Steve Rash has done a bunch of comedies throughout the years. He did Son-in-Law, which I like. I think it's fun.
Yeah, Pauly Shore, yeah.
Pauly Shore. He did Eddie, the basketball movie we should have seen. I've never seen it.
Whoopi Goldberg.
Is it a basketball movie?
Yep.
All right. And one movie that you've seen recently, American Pie Presents Band Camp. I don't remember where this one falls on your list of American Pie present movies.
I don't either. It's one of the higher ones, I feel like. Yeah, because I think that was the first American Pie Presents movies.
Yes, I think so.
I think this is probably the best one out of those.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
It stars Patrick Dempsey as Ronald Miller, sometimes Donald Miller. Amanda Peterson, who's no longer with us, as Cindy Mancini. Courtney Gaines as... Is that right? Courtney Gaines as Kenneth Werman.
Yeah.
Tina Caspi as Barbara. And Seth Green, yes, that's Seth Green from...
Little Seth Green.
Little Seth Green.
And he's still little.
From, what was it? I was going to say, from Buffy and Robot Chicken and all that kind of stuff, as Patrick Dempsey's brother, Chucky Miller.
Chucky.
So this is a movie that I haven't seen, but you've seen before.
I have, yeah.
So what'd you remember about Can't Buy Me Love, and what'd you think about it this time around?
I remember quite a bit because I've seen it, I feel like, many times.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's weird. I've seen it. I saw it in the theater. I saw it in 1987, yes, as a teen. That's how old I am. I know. You can't tell from looking. You can't tell from all the gray, but... I saw it in the movie theater back in 1987, and I remember really, really enjoying it then, because again, it's like, oh wow, it's people. I mean, they were older than me, they're older than me at the time when I saw it, but still, I could kind of identify with, with them in certain ways and everything. And I remember leaving the theater and just thinking, oh, what a great movie. And I think at the time I was kind of at that point kind of getting into the Beatles, like the fact that it was Can't Buy Me Love, and that they did use the actual song, and that must have cost something,
It must have cost a pretty penny.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean the original title of the movie before they secure the rights was Boy Rents Girl.
Yeah.
So,
which honestly is a better title to me.
You think so?
I do. I just feel like they were like, no, we got to do something that's really catchy. And then they somehow got the Can't Buy Me Love.
I like Can't Buy Me Love over Boy Rents Girl.
I don't know. I like Boy Rents Girl better, but nevertheless, yeah. So I've seen this movie several times. Honestly, I mean, I feel like I've seen it all the way through several times. I've seen, once again, kind of bits and pieces of it here and there on television. And I don't know where to begin with this movie. I mean, I don't think it's. I have like a not quite a love-hate relationship with this movie. It's more like a like-hate relationship with this movie. I actually do like it overall, and I think that has a lot to do with the fact that I have nostalgia from seeing it when I was younger, and then seeing it back in the 90s several times, and seeing it, just periodically over the years. So I think I like it for that reason. But objectively, this is not a very good movie, to be honest with you. And I mean, I have like a bunch of things. As I was watching the movie, I just kept being baffled by some of their decisions, baffled by some of their actions, baffled by some of the dialogue and just writing stuff. Why would they do this? Why did they do that? How come they don't do this? How, I'm not going to read it all, but that's my stream of consciousness kind of thought as I'm watching this movie. So ultimately, I will say I am favorable on this movie, although I don't think that I would feel that way if I was watching it for the first time now. I feel like it's nostalgia because it's not to say that I forgive the faults of this movie. I still see them for what they are, and I still think they're stupid. And a lot of this movie is stupid and unbelievable and just not good. But I think just because like this is a movie that I've kind of carried with me over the years, I actually do like this movie despite the fact that I recognize it's a legitimately not a very good film. So before I go any deeper into kind of my problems with it, before I get it go any deeper into like what I think is stupid, I would like to know what you thought about it.
I think I feel pretty much the same as you, right? So I think this movie's okay as far as like this kind of movie goes, and I had fun watching it. Like it was a good time. I wasn't begrudging it or didn't have any good time. So I think it's okay. I mean, for me, it's in the same kind of vein as like Can't Hardly Wait, which was probably my movie of this, maybe for you. Like Can't Hardly Wait came out at that impressionable time when I was younger, and that is like my teen movie, right? And all that kind of stuff. And it also has Seth Green in it, and it has
funny enough.
Jennifer Love Hewitt and all that kind of stuff. It reminds me of like She's All That, who's like a remake of like Pygmalion a little bit, and all that kind of stuff, like with
Rachel Lee
Cook and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like of that ilk, right? Not Another Teen Movie did a really good rip on all this stuff. So so in that vein of this movie, I think this movie is decent. Like I don't think it does anything crazy or anything amazing or anything shocking, but it does what it asks of it well, right? And there's some parts that's fun and some parts that are not fun, but overall, you're kind of having fun with the characters and they're in interesting situations and all that kind of stuff. So I think overall, even though I don't have a lot of nostalgia for it, I do like this genre of movies, so I kind of liked it for what it is, I think it's like better than like Meatballs.
Well, it is. It is. Meatballs is just a chore to get through, and it's just not really funny at all. At least this movie has some laughs, even if they're unintentional.
Yeah. So that's where I kind of come from. It is, I had fun. I think it does this kind of thing well.
Yeah. So it's funny you mentioned the guy Steve Rash directed American Pie Presents Bandcamp because when I see the redheaded guy in this movie, that's the Courtney Gaines. Courtney Gaines is the actor. Kenneth is the character. When I see Courtney Gaines, I think that must be Shermanator's older brother. That's exactly what I thought. I thought, well, this is Shermanator's older brother.
Did he do that at Bandcamp? You should have grabbed Shermanator. You should have grabbed Courtney Gaines to be Sherman's dad.
Oh, totally. Yeah. I should have.
That would have been amazing.
I don't think they do that, but unfortunately, they should have do that. But no. But yeah, there's so many questions that I ask myself as I'm watching this movie. Well, I think watching it, of course, I know it's a comedy, and I know that it's a teen movie, and it's not meant to be taken literally. But I feel like nothing would stop her from just reneging on the deal, right?
Yeah.
She could just be like, "Thanks for paying for the coat. Screw you."
She's a woman of her word.
Well, I know, but I feel like nothing would stop her from reneging on the deal. And then I really don't like that his friends if I were his friends, I'd be like, okay, you got to tell us like how you wormed your way into her life. They don't ever really. I mean, they're like, what's you do hanging out with her? You know, like, well, how's he hanging out with her? But they don't question like there's something fishy going on here. They're just like, hey, you stop hanging out with us, man, or whatever. And I'm like, no. They would be like, dude. Like, how did you make this happen? Because we know you didn't.
She's out of your league, man. How'd you do that? Like, what'd you say?
Yeah, they don't do that. Instead, they just mope about how he doesn't hang out with him anymore and stuff like that. So that really rubs me the wrong way. The best scenes in the movie are obviously the fart scenes from the one football player guy or whatever. Big John.
I want him in more movies.
He's got a fart, and every time he farts, it's Seth Green's face.
He's got some stomach issues. He's got some IBS or something.
He does, and I think the best line in the movie by a country mile is obviously "You shit on my house, man." You shit on my house. When he throws
the dog shit.
Patrick Dempsey, he throws that. They have that confrontation in the arcade. As he's playing his game, and they're like, "You shit on my house, man."
He's playing like Excite Bike or something.
You shit on my house. Yeah, that's the absolute best. But yeah, no, I mean, there's a lot of dialogue in it that's really cringy and comes across as really, really stupid. And I don't mean just because it's not politically correct or because it's offensive or anything like that. I mean the stuff. Forget that stuff. I mean that stuff is bad, but some of the other stuff that's just like, I don't know. I didn't write down any examples, but some of the other stuff. I like how her secret shame is that she writes poetry, like the Cynthia girl, the girl, or Cindy. Sorry, that he's madly in love with her. That's like her secret shame. She finally has the guts to read somebody her poetry. I just find that so stupid.
Deep blue eyes like the sea or something.
Yeah,
like that.
It's so ridiculous. I also love how broad and just like on the nose their reactions are, right? So like whenever he starts to become cool, it's like they instantly change. They're like, he went from being totally geek to totally chic. It's been like a day or something, you know. And then at the end of the movie, or towards the end of the movie, when she finally admits in front of everybody because she's drunk, and she admits in front of everybody that like, oh no, he paid me to like him. Everybody's like, oh, hey, sorry, I don't know you. I mean, why wouldn't they just be like, hey, that's kind of lame, but you're still cool, right? Yeah. But instead, they're like, oh, no, we can't have that. Like, it's just so ridiculous.
You mean that wasn't your high school experience?
No, it's so, I don't know, it's so ridiculous.
I agree, it is, but that's kind of like what you're buying into for this kind of movie.
Yeah, and that's why, I mean, again, I think ultimately that, along with nostalgia, you know, again, it's not that I can overlook it. I still see it, and I still kind of go, "Oh God," you know, roll my eyes. But I can still accept it, and still get some enjoyment out of the movie.
I was taken aback by $1,000 outfit. Like even nowadays, like you know, like
it's all suede, man.
40 years later, $1,000 on one outfit is a lot of money.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then in 1987, yeesh. Yeah. I agree. I'm just looking at the sheer amount of notes you have on.
And then one thing that we didn't point out that I will point out now is the speech at the end where he has like the baseball bat and he's like, "We all knew each other in 4th grade. You broke your arm or whatever," and then everybody starts clapping.
It's so
like, isn't that just I mean, when you saw that, where you like, I was like, because I forgot they did that, and I was like, oh my God. The slow clap, really? That's how we cap things off in this movie? They're like, yes, he speaks truth.
It's gotta be a...
They start clapping. I was like, oh.
What movie were they making fun of the slow clap in?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, I looked it up. I was like, is this the first movie where they like do the slow clap? But in Lucas, which came out the year before this with Corey Haim, they do it in that movie.
All right.
And they do it in Hoosiers, which I think came out the same year as this.
I mean, they do it in like She's All That too, and they do it in, you know, Can't Hardly Wait. They have the same thing with Seth Green, and then the girl character where she's like, "We used to be best friends, and now you're all weird, dressed like a rave kid," which is how me and my friends dressed.
Their relationship or their little story in Can't Hardly Wait is my favorite thing about that movie. Yeah.
So I don't, like I said, I know, like, I buy into this fully when I watch these kind of movies. Like, I totally get like from a outside perspective, it's kind of like, okay, we're doing this, but you know, that's what we're signing up for. So I give it. I'm obviously you're lenient towards it, but I'm fairly lenient towards that.
So you mentioned the cast. I noticed in the credits, choreography is by Paula Abdul. Did
I
you see
saw
that?
that. Yes. It's interesting because I'm watching Winning Time on HBO right now, and she was like the first Laker
She's a
girl,
Laker girl, right?
which I didn't even know that either. So it's kind of interesting that I'm watching two things that are tangentially associated with Paula Abdul. I mean, did they really do a lot of? Did she teach them the dance that he did the dance thing?
I think maybe the
anteater-
dance, and then maybe some of the cheerleader stuff
Yeah,
that they do, like some of those dances, something like that is what I'm guessing. And apparently she's in she's like an extra in one part of the movie. Although I didn't see her, but I didn't know where to look for her either.
Oh, this movie, the anteater dance reminded me of what was it? It was like an Usher movie where he's like, "All right, everyone, let's do the dance we all learned," and everyone does like the same kind of synchronized dancing and stuff.
Oh,
like
really?
That. Yeah, it's like from the late 2000s stuff like that. I like that stuff, so I think that's cool. And I think it's interesting. I mean, I'm reading way into this, but I think it's interesting that it shows like how fickle and how like vapid popularity is in high school and stuff like that. And I do see like something like this happening, like someone who's really cool and has like a lot of heat, like behind them and like has a lot of say can make something happen and people like, oh yeah, this is it. Like this is it. This is the cool thing.
Yeah.
Like I can see, and then turning away from it and being like that. I see that. I can see that as being a true thing, right? I mean, obviously this movie expands on it and makes it a bigger, so it's a comedy. But I do think that's an interesting idea.
So some other people that I was going to point out that are in the cast that are in small roles. One is George Gray plays the football player that is Cindy's supposed boyfriend who's now gone to college or whatever. He's a terrible actor and he does not act anymore, but he is on The Price is Right. He is the announcer on The Price is Right.
Carey, come on down.
And he did host like some kind of version of the Gong Show at one point back in the 90s, late 90s. And he also did the American version of The Weakest Link, which ran for like a season.
Does he still have the mullet?
He does not have the mullet. No, he has a short haircut. But yeah, so he gave up acting, probably a good thing, and became, more involved with game shows. This movie has Gerardo in it. Gerardo, so you got Big John, who's one of the football players. You've got the guy that threatens Kenneth at the end, and then you've got the other guy, I do not remember his character's name, but he is a rapper, or was a rapper, back in the 90s, mid or early 90s. He had a single called Rico Suave.
Oh, that's him?
That's him. That's
Rico.
Gerardo. That's him. He's in this movie. He's one of the jock guys. Yeah. Nice. Rico Suave. And finally, Amy Dolenz is a small role in this movie. She's Mickey Dolenz of the Monkees. She's his daughter. She's she had a much bigger role in the movie with Tony Danza. She's out of control, something like that, came out in like 1989 or something like that. So she would be kind of a bigger teen kind of star after this. She has a very, very small role in this movie. But one last thing I want to point out was they do, because when they break up, she slaps him. And like when he goes back to her house later, he goes, "That slap was so real. I mean, we're talking Oscar nominations." Of course, it made me think of the recent Will Smith slap at the Oscars, right? That's what it made me think of. I hate Will Smith, right?
The commenters ask you about that.
Yeah.
I was thinking, I didn't put those two together. I was thinking, and yet none of these people got nominated for an Oscar.
No, I think the Cindy Mancini, Amanda Peterson, the actress that plays Cindy, I think she's the best thing about this movie. I think she's actually really, really good in this movie. Not to say that other people, I mean, I think George Gray is terrible, and some of the other actors probably aren't that great, but I think Amanda Peterson plays a really good character. I don't like that they made her secret shame is that she writes poetry and some of the things they did with her character. But I think she's really, really fabulous in this movie. She's really good. And it's a shame, as you said, she's passed away now, unfortunately, but it's a shame she didn't have a bigger career. Because she was in this, she was in Explorers in 1985. She's in a handful of other kind of forgettable things. I know she did a debate movie, like student debater movie called Listen to Me in the late 80s. And then she didn't do anything after 1994, movie-wise. She retired.
She did TVs and stuff
did other stuff. And unfortunately got into like drugs and alcohol, and then she ended up dying of an overdose.
Yeah.
So it's a shame that her career did not amount to more, because I think she's really good in this. Fortunately, I can't really speak to her other movies because I haven't seen them, other than Explorers, which is a ridiculous movie. But anyway, this movie's not out on Blu-ray yet, but it is streaming on Hulu.
Hey, sometimes we have enough juice where they come out on Blu-ray after we talk about them.
They do. A lot of times they do.
Let's will this to happen.
I like to think it has something to do with us.
One of our 10 viewers.
One of our 10 viewers is responsible for, he's going to put it out on, or he or she is going to put it out on Blu-ray. This movie is only 50% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, and it's 74% audience score. It got 2 thumbs down.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Gene Siskel only gave it 1 star, and Roger Ebert, even worse, he gave it half a star. And Leonard Maltin, I don't know what happened to my Leonard Maltin review, but or what he thought of it, but I'm pretty sure it's 2 stars. I think maybe a little bit further down. I'm pretty sure Maltin gave it 2 stars. Oh, there it is. Nope, 2.5. Sorry.
2.5.
Leonard Maltin gave it 2.5. My little screen got cut off.
So he likes it better than Siskel.
Yeah, 1 star from Siskel, half a star from Ebert, and 2.5 stars from Leonard Maltin. But I mentioned last time I did watch Love Don't Cost a Thing, which is like the remake of this. Roger Ebert gave that 3 stars.
So what'd you think about Love Don't Cost a Thing? Do you think? I think that actually might be a better. No, I still like Can't Buy Me Love better.
I mean, again, I think Love Don't Cost a Thing is fine for what it is. I mean, I think that I wouldn't say that it's better than this movie, honestly. I mean, I don't think it has some of the silliness and some of the obviousness of this movie. But, I mean, I think overall I like Can't Buy Me Love better, but that probably has a lot to do with nostalgia. But Love Don't Cost a Thing, I didn't think it was bad. I think it's worth a watch,
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's Can't Buy Me Love. On these Wednesday episodes, we like to answer viewers' questions. And on Monday, we talked about a movie that stars Tom Cruise from 1983, and that movie was called Risky Business. And we decided to pick a viewer's question about Tom Cruise. We've done a couple Tom Cruise movies for the podcast, the show. We've done A Few Good Men. We did The Color Money, which I really liked. It might be my favorite Scorsese movie. So we decided to pick, can there be a favorite Tom Cruise movie is the question.
Now you're starting to make me think have we answered this question before?
I know for Color Money we asked an SNL character, but I don't think for
just checking. I hate to repeat ourselves.
I think for A Few Good Men we were talking about Storkin.
Okay.
So I don't feel like we've done this before, but maybe we did. Maybe people can point out how inconsistent we are.
I know that we'll pick 2 completely different movies, and they'll be like, "Hey, on this other episode, you said it was The Last Samurai." And you're like, no.
Oh, we did do The Last Samurai for the show too.
We did.
Are those the 3 Tom Cruise movies, or have we done more than that?
I don't know. We've done so many at this point. Yeah. It's hard to.
I mean, we've done.
Hard to remember.
I think close to 250 movies. I think we're either at or really close to that right now.
Ooh. Lordy.
Of course, people that are watching can see what episode number it is on the title, but I figured that out way later.
Yeah.
I will say, and I said this to you when we were talking about the question, I think Tom Cruise has done more good than bad movies. Like, I think a lot of his movies are generally pretty okay to pretty good. Like, I don't think he has been on very many bad movies,
Yeah, I mean, I think he's the antithesis of somebody like Nicolas Cage or Bruce Willis, as we mentioned. They just kind of take everything. I feel bad talking about Bruce Willis now because I know he's retiring because he's got aphasia, so I'll leave him out of it. But like Nicolas Cage doing everything that comes his way.
Sam Jackson has a lot of bad, but a lot of good. I mean, Danny Trejo has some good, a lot of bad. I mean, I would even think would Tom Hanks have as many hits over misses?
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, I think that puts them in like rarefied company where they don't have like a movies that you want to shy away from and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, he's a Tom Cruise is a megastar, has been for a long time. Yeah. He can afford to be selective about the movies that he does. I feel like he does, consider his projects carefully. He doesn't just go, "Oh yeah, I was gonna do whatever." I mean, not to say that he doesn't do some some missteps. I mean, he did The Mummy in recent years, which I
Yeah,
think
that's true.
would definitely be considered a misstep. But
And Night and Day. But I mean,
and the Jack Reacher sequel.
yeah. So now that we say it, no, but you know, I will say like some of the stuff he's done, like we both like American Made, and we feel like that movie doesn't get talked about a whole lot.
Sure.
You know, I mean, you can't mention him and not mention what he's done with the Mission Impossible movies, and you know, 2 might be the worst one of that, but it's still a decent action movie ish. And you know, he's gone on and done great things with that whole franchise. The Jack Reacher stuff is kind of a miss. Not great. He wasn't great in Rock of Ages, but that has a special spot for me. I think it's just such a strange and weird musical. He plays like Stacey Jacks in it. So weird. You know, a lot of people like him and as Lou Grossman or Les Grossman in Tropic Thunder. He kind of has a glorified cameo role there, and it's kind of crazy. But yeah, I mean, Collateral he's really good in. I feel like a little out of character for that one. Just a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, he's a very talented guy. He can do all of the Mission Impossible kind of action stuff, does his own stunts, whatever. Despite the fact that he's 60 now. What is he? I mean, he's born in 62. Is that right? Yeah, he's born in 62, so he'll be 60 in July of this year. So that's crazy.
That is crazy.
I couldn't do the stunts he did 20 years ago, probably. Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty impressive. But yeah, I mean, he's done some cool stuff for the most part. I would say. I mean, yeah. So kind of looking through here, I mean, you know, you mentioned American Made. I think that movie flies under the radar, and it's definitely worth your time. Doug Liman directed, good flick. He's got so many hits.
Yeah.
Mission Impossible, all the Mission Impossible stuff. Few Good Men, which we did. But yeah, I mean, if I had to pick a movie of his that I would select as the favorite, and this might change like next week because it's hard. I mean,
this is probably like the hardest one we've had to do.
Yeah, he's done a lot of really quality stuff. I mean, I think nowadays, and it has been a while since I've seen this, so maybe if I watched it again, I might have a different take on it. But I think nowadays, Jerry Maguire has become so, ubiquitous as far as the quotes that come at you complete me, you had me at hello, show me the money, all that stuff, that it's become known more for just that than for being, honestly, a really good movie. Like, I think it's a really, really solid movie, at least based on my recollection from having seen it a while back. But I think that's a really good movie. So I would say that's up there for me, at least as far as just quality performances.
Yeah.
Again, I don't think that he does movies where he's particularly bad. The movie might be bad. But I am going to go with Rain Man.
Interesting. I was for sure thinking we were going to go with the Paul Thomas Anderson movie.
No, because Magnolia is not one of my favorites of Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, Magnolia is another one that I need to watch again. I've only seen it once all the way through because it's friggin' 3 hours long. Yeah, I got to clear my schedule and watch that. So, but I remember seeing it in the theater, and I was kind of lukewarm on it.
Yeah.
So no, I'm not going to go with Magnolia. I'm going to go with Rain Man. I mean, I think that's one of the first movies that he did that really showed that he could act. I think, he's obviously was kind of overshadowed by Dustin Hoffman in that movie because it's a little bit more, difficult of a role that Dustin Hoffman did. Also, has been parodied some and it's kind of quoted as well, But I think Rain Man really showed that. Well, I think The Color of Money probably is the first movie that really showed that he had some range. But Rain Man really, really cemented it into the critics' minds and into the public's minds that this is a guy who doesn't just have this, 1,000-megawatt grin. He actually is a good actor, because prior to like Color of Money and Rain Man, he did like Top Gun, which is a little more showy and kind of an action movie, and all the teen movies that he did that we mentioned, Risky Business, All the Right Moves, and he did Legend. which is just kind of a weird kind of fantasy sci-fi movie. So I think Color of Money and then Rain Man are really good showcases of the talent that this guy had. And, obviously we've seen it, many times since then, but I think that's the first movie. But I think Rain Man is a good movie. Barry Levinson directed that. It's a solid movie. So I'm going to go with that. Rain Man.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I it's hard for me to choose, I think, like you, because, Rain Man is obviously a great movie. I've seen it once. Probably need to revisit that again. Really, really enjoyed Color Money when we watched it for the podcast, for the show, and all that kind of stuff. He was in just some really great movies. Obviously, like Jerry Maguire, liked Vanilla Sky, which he also did for Cameron Crowe. I don't think that one's as good, but for my circle of friends, that movie was quotable. Like, we just quoted it all the time.
I'm not a fan of that movie.
And all that kind of stuff. But for me, I have to go with my populist opinion on every movie and stuff like that. My favorite movie he's done is Mission Impossible 3.
Oh, yeah.
I know it's not... I don't think it's as loved as it should be. It's J.J. Abrams' first directing as a feature film. And... helped write it, and I think it's a magnificent script. Philip Seymour Hoffman as the heavy in that movie, the bad guy. I think the movie is awesome. The dialogue, the action, the filmmaking is top notch. It's JJ at his best. But I don't know if a lot of people share that same opinion. So for me, it's the third out. If I had to split hairs, third outing of Mission Impossible, Mission Impossible 3.
I'm fine with you picking. I mean, obviously, I know your thoughts on Mission Impossible 3. I know you like it, but I would be fine with you picking any Mission Impossible movie as long as it's not number 2.
Yeah,
because number two is a number 2, right? Yeah,
I was going to make that joke. Yeah.
Yep.
That's right.
Beat you to it.
Yep. All right. Well, that was our favorite Tom Cruise movie. Let us know what your favorite is. I'm sure he has a lot to choose from. I know some people have trouble watching Tom Cruise, and sometimes his personal life
can't separate.
Yeah, can't separate that. Totally understand. Totally get that. For us, it's not that big of an issue, and I can watch movies with him in it and not be taken out. So let us know down below what your favorite Tom Cruise movies are. We were curious to see that. Maybe I need to see The Outsiders or some other ones that he's done that I have not seen. So we can put those on our list. And that was everything. Can't Buy Me Love and more. Please like, subscribe, share, do all that social media stuff with the show. It really does help spread the word, and we do appreciate that. And stay tuned next week as we pick some movies from my list of shame, and we'll see you soon, guys.